Now that winter is over, spring is finally here, and it's time for that good old spring weather. I think we're going to go outside for a walk, because it's such a beautiful day. What? Okay. I guess I'm stuck inside for a while. What am I supposed to do? I mean, I guess I could go on to HIDIVE.com/LP/RA2020 for a free 30-day trial to HIDIVE, where I can watch Love Chunibyo and other anime in HD with subs and dubs available on my Xbox and my Roku and my Android and my iOS, with uncensored content available where needed. I mean, if you're... What is this? Ah! I mean, if you're really pulling my leg, I guess I could do that.
Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers as well as coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised.
And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more content. Our channel is dying because we didn't make enough content. So now we need to make more content. Please follow us on social media to keep up with our content. Join our Discord server down below and follow us on Twitter at Tokyo Podfathers. And follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Tokyo Podfathers for even more content. We can't stop making content. We're making content all the time. Ah! Help me!
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Winter 2020. We're here to talk about the latest season of anime, probably the last season of anime happening ever until we come out of Corona season. So, we're coming back to you live with the Our Anime Podcast. I have a similar but slightly different crew from last time. So, going down the line, we have Sinris. How are you doing?
Good, but I hate to break it to you, Shao, we are not coming at them live.
We are not coming at them live. We do not have the skills to do that, which is unfortunate. Thank you, Google Hangouts. Very cool. And we also have Mozilla Fennekin. How are you?
The point is that we are live.
We are alive. That's true.
We are live.
I wanted to joke about, usually whenever we have to, change members or something, I just joke about them dying, so I would normally do that for Lisa, who's not here, returning from the first impressions, but coronavirus made it uncool to die. It is no longer funny to die.
It's not trendy anymore. It's unfortunate, too, because, it would work out so well, but I know that, having a different cast would genuinely prompt questions of, is she okay? And she's doing fine. She is over on twitch.tv/Lisa Wallen.
She's not sick. She's just a Twitch streamer now.
You could say that's a different type of illness, but we will not. We actually, because we are Twitch streamers too, so we got it. We are also Twitch streamers, so that's Twitch where we're at.
Twitch.tv/Tokyo Podfathers.
Yes.
I'm going to drink some G Fuel in commemoration.
That was definitely the smoothest segue into showing our product that I've ever seen.
It was pretty accidental. We kind of fumbled our way into remembering that we're Twitch streamers after insulting them and then insulting ourselves. But no, much love with Lisa. She's doing a great job streaming. She's doing, I think, Persona and Animal Crossing. So, go check her out. But we're thankfully joined by the wonderful Narwhal. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Especially under
I am not a Twitch
such
streamer,
short notice.
but I am here.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Yeah. And we have a lot of fun anime to talk about, especially since, this season kind of ended, and I feel like this happened, kind of 2 years ago. We've had, 2 years and a month, so it's kind of nice to look back at all the past season, which was a interesting but low-key kind of season. But there were still a lot of shows that we want to talk about, and a lot of shows we had a fun time with. Oh, I guess I always forget to introduce myself. I'm Shaw. Sorry about that. So, anyway, jumping into the season, let's start with the big one, the easy breezy Eizouken. So,
easy breezy.
Remember when that opening was going around because it was kind of viral? And now it's not going around because everyone is sad.
Remember when life was good and we enjoyed easy breezy?
Remember when life was easy breezy? It's not anymore.
I miss having nice things.
Feels bad. I miss things. Yeah, it's it was really fun. I ended up finishing it kind of recently, And it put a smile on my face every time I watched an episode, so it was nice to bring back the easy breezy life.
Yeah. It's good shit. The as of right now, with the season over, the opening does have 6.3 million views on YouTube.
Nice.
So.
Good job. Good job, weebs. Let's go.
Weebs? Good taste? What is this?
Not in my watch. Yeah, but it was kind of cool how, you know, a Yuasa show was kind of like the biggest show of the season, in a way. Big in a certain way. The next one we'll talk about is another type of big, but we'll wait until we get to that. But yeah, Eizouken was a fun take, kind of like, in my head, I think of it as Yuasa's Shirobaku, but in high school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a good time with it. I like the attention to detail and the focus on how to make an anime, what goes into it. I loved kind of Mori wrestling money out of everyone. Very much enjoyed that, learning how to do that. But what did you guys think?
I loved it. In kind of a weird way that I didn't expect to. Like, it ended up being really low-key, like, 90% of the time. And then really fucking wild the other 10%.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Are you talking about like the 10% when they are like kind of fully illustrating how they would do like an action sequence and like they kind of become the anime, or just random crazy shit?
I'm thinking more of that random crazy shit.
That, and also the fact that their school is basically Honoji Academy.
Yeah, I like how over the top their school is. I thought that was so cool to show like just how much like influence and power the student council had. You know, like all these kind of like clubs fighting for power.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
The club stuff was nuts. I think my favorite episode of the show was definitely the one where they premiere their mech anime at the school festival, and all of the shenanigans that come along with that process.
That was amazing.
It also felt the most like classically Yuasa to me that the show ever did. Like the whole bit where the head of the robot club is trying to distract the security club and everything by like running through and going past all this crazy shit and everything. It felt to me exactly like something straight out of Tatami Galaxy.
Oh yeah, I could totally see that. Like all the over the top shenanigans in like what's supposed to be like a semi-grounded setting.
Right.
And I love like the one shot of him while he's like on the zip line going down, and they just show him inside the box suit and he has this like crazy grin on his face.
With like the snot flying up his face and everything.
Yeah, the one he looked like gross, but he was having like the time of his life.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we stan.
Eizouken was like beyond what I expected, and I don't even know what I expected. Like, it was probably going to be a good show before I started it, but then like it just took over like everything I ever loved, honestly.
That's awesome.
Like, I did not expect to like it as much as I did, and I don't know, like, it's just so nice to watch people doing things that they love so passionately, and it like feels like genuine. Like some other shows like try to like feel genuine with their characters, like aiming for whatever goal, but it just feels like a 2D character doing something. But like Eizouken, like I genuinely felt like I was like basically a part of the club, just like because I loved what they were doing so much, and like I felt like all their like little like arguments and stuff, like the arguments between Kanamori and the other two about just like them like wanting to do other things that they're like more creatively interested in, but like Kanamori's just like, we got to make something that's an actual like serviceable product, or else we're gonna get shut down. And it's like
like you can't. It's like you can't you can't work on the next thing without finishing this thing.
Yeah, like Kanamori's like harsh, but like in the best way possible. And it's it's like
when everyone is like
normally this character would be someone you would hate if they like came off way too strong, but then Kanamori's just like literally the best. I love her so much.
Me too.
Kanamori is like the most punk rock character I've seen in a long time. Yeah. Like one of my favorite exchanges in the whole the whole show was when she was talking to the student council and the teachers and all, and about how they're trying to get into Comic Cat, and they're like, well, you know, you can't really make money off of selling products at Comic. That's like not a good look for the school. And she's like, what's the point of you guys? What's the point of like this board if you're not even going to defend your students? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And I'm like, oh my god.
She went hard. Because I was so used to her talking their way out of it every time, and she just, like, went hard. She's like, you guys are fucking worthless. And they had, like, no response. They were kind of like, yeah, we are, but, like, you still can't do it.
Yeah.
Even the secretary was kind of like, let's cut this shit. We know that they're useless, but you're making us look bad, so we kind of got to shut it down.
Right.
Like, she was almost kind of like, yeah, we all know these teachers on the board are completely worthless, but we just got to follow them. And I was like, yeah, stick it to the man.
Would you guys agree that this is the best anime to do anime?
No, I think I prefer Shirobako still.
Okay. I think Shirobako... Okay.
I think I might take the opposite position, and I might prefer this one. Because I think they both handle making anime well, but I think this one does a better job of, like, making you invested in making anime than Shirobako, which I was invested in, like, people making anime, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
That's kind of how I would see it. I think, like, Shirobako, of course, is a lot better when it comes to the actual industry aspect of making anime, you know, the business aspect of it. But when it comes to creativity and artistry, I think Eizouken just totally excels in that.
Yeah. Like, Shirobako is kind of like how you make an anime, and Eizouken is how you create an anime.
That makes sense.
I don't know. I don't know if that's, like, too vague, but I get, like, different vibes, even though they're kind of communicating a similar thing.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Can I just say, like, the actual city in the show is, like, one of the greatest settings that, like, you could possibly work
it's so cool.
Like,
yeah, I love
they
the
made
setting.
it super cool, and they, like, made it, like, important for it to be super cool. Because, like, then it inspires, like, the entire cast to, like, model their shows and, well, their shorts off, like, just random stuff that, like, no one else would care about. Like, when they just go to, like, the most obscure, abandoned parts of the city and find, like, random peaks of inspiration. It's just, like, wow. Like, I am not cut out to be a creative person compared to these people.
The episode where they're, like, just walking around and they find, like, the old culvert and they follow the stream, like, up for everywhere. Mm-hmm. The whole time I was watching that sequence, I was like, I can't believe the show is, like, spending time on this. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool, but it so didn't need to happen that I'm really impressed they went out of their way to make this moment.
And I felt like the city the whole time, I wasn't sure if there was ever going to kind of be, like, a backstory on why it was so quirky and, like, created in such a weird way. Like, I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be almost like, you know, maybe, like, post-climate change type of city, because, like, so much of it was flooded, and they talked about how, like, at parts of it used to be roads, but now they were flooded, or if that was just, like, part of the quirky nature to it that was kind of implied.
Yeah.
But I like that they left it, you know, open to interpretation. Like, is this just a really quirky city, or if it's supposed to be, like, maybe in the distant future after natural disasters have happened.
Yeah, that wasn't something I ever really, like, actively thought about, but I definitely got that kind of vibe, you know? Like, like, is there, that this is a place with a story to it, even if that story isn't, like, relevant ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it was such a subtly cool setting that I really enjoyed, too. And I think they did a good job of kind of, like, giving each girl their episode to shine without going too much into, like, here's your backstory episode. Now you're a character, you know, like, they worked their backstories and personalities in really well. So I really like all of them, too. I think they're a really cool crew, and they bounce off each other really well.
Definitely.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think Kanamori is, like, the most immediately impactful character, but I don't know if I really can decide on a favorite between the three.
I feel that. I think if I had to pick one, I would say that it's... Fuck, can't I remember her name now? The show ended a million years ago. The little gremlin. As opposed to Kanamori, who's the big gremlin.
The one who kind of looks like a frog?
Yeah, her.
She looks like a Kappa.
I think she's my favorite. Just I like her spunk, her style.
Mm-hmm.
Her just like kind of like goofy intellectualism way of speaking. She definitely reminded me a lot of like weird kids I knew in high school.
And on this podcast. Yeah, I know what you mean. I like how she has her like own language that she kind of has going on. And,
yeah.
like, sometimes I just straight up don't know what she's talking about, but then like it does make sense at the end of it.
Right.
So, yeah, she's really cool. I still love kind of Mori. She's just kind of my queen, but I like all three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Kanamori person, like, fully. Like, I just love how, like, bossy she is without coming off as obnoxious. And, like, when you get, like, I think my favorite episode was her backstory episode with, like, just,
that
like,
was really good.
the random Shounen bros. Like, I love this person. Like, I thought I loved you so much already, and then I just love you more now. Like, she's just so sweet under that just, like, a facade of just, like, bringing the money. And I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
and I love how even though she's the only person who didn't have, like, artistic talent, she also felt, like, the most competent at getting things done.
Like,
Like,
that's
like,
cool.
Like in that last episode when they were worried about, like, they had to fix something, and she's like, okay, we just lost our DVD distributor. Don't worry, I'll find another one. And in that moment, I'm like, yeah, I can trust Kanamori. She's going to find another one. And I was like, I'm not involved in this situation, but I feel comforted by her words.
Yeah, I like that she's, like, the driving force for these artists, and at the same time, she doesn't really, like, argue with them, for lack of a better word. Like, I'm trying to think of a specific example, but there was something that, I think she said, like, what, like, everything you do is great, so why are you, like, complaining? And then, I think it was Asakusa who was like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you think, like, if I don't think it's good, then it's, that's the problem. And she's just like, yeah, can't argue with that, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, she's not an artist, but she can kind of understand what it would like to be an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of her getting the backup distributor for DVDs, did she, like, go shake down the Yakuza? Is that what happened in that scene?
No,
Something like that.
No, that was the DVD club.
Yeah, she just busted down the door.
Because remember the DVD club had their, like, own personal security, and then they got, like, shot down by the security club and, like, the
that's right. Yeah.
So they look like Yakuza, but she just really got, like, she got data for them.
We don't know what she had to do. Clubs.
That's this school for you. Is that the Yakuza? No, it's just a DVD club.
I think my favorite dumb club was the air conditioning club.
Yes. Oh my god, how she got pictures of them, like, hoarding the AC for themselves, and how if the pictures got out, they'd be ruined.
And she's, like, haggling with them about, like, how many degrees down they'll change the temperature in the auditorium.
Money and it's degrees.
Yeah.
That was great. I love that.
She's like, 72 or I walk. The club president's like, no, absolutely not. Or no, what the president's like, fine, just don't release the pictures. And one of the others is like, 72 degrees, the student council will have our heads.
And it's, like, so funny, and you buy into it completely that this is, like, their form of currency is just how many degrees they can keep this auditorium.
Right.
Yeah. Love it. Great show. Glad to see it become, like, pretty big,
Yeah.
I think at some point we discussed, is this the most accessible Yuasa show? And I think I'm inclined to agree.
It's gotta be.
Yeah,
Look at the competition. It's gotta be.
Yeah. I mean, love Yuasa, but accessible he is not.
Yeah, pretty true.
Yeah.
Yeah, still trying to convince people to watch Ping Pong to varying degrees of success.
Maybe this is like his victory lap. He's made so much stuff, and this is probably going to be his last show for a little while because he said that he's going on hiatus.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Was he going on hiatus or just joining another company?
I don't know. Like, he's leaving the company that he started. So
yeah, which has happened, like, many times in, like, the anime industry.
Sure, sure.
Like, so, like, it's not always a sign of, like, leaving forever, but it is a sign of change.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially with
I don't
someone
know.
who's like such an auteur, like I have a hard time imagining that doesn't mean like that he would just like up and outy and be right back to making other stuff immediately, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not surprised that he would go on break because we commented on the Weathering with You episodes. We were like, oh, Shinkai, you know, he did Your Name in 2016, then he bounced back in 2019, you know, 3 years, and he makes 2 amazing movies. Look at how much Yuasa has done in like 5 years.
That's true.
He's
like
done so
the
much.
output his output is ridiculous. So
yeah,
maybe
between
he's just
movies and
tired.
TV series. Yeah, he just wants to nap.
He
which
just
is
wants
fair.
to go to bed.
He's just taking a hiatus with the coronavirus. So, I mean, everyone's doing it one way or another, so his is just a bit more official.
It does add another layer to the story. He said he was inspired to make Eizouken when he was Google searching his own name and saw just like some random forum post where someone said like, "Oh, I love this manga. Like, Yuasa should do an adaptation of it." And he's like, "Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna retire soon anyway."
Like, yes.
But yeah, it's sad to see him go. Unyoung Choi, though, who's like now the one in charge of Science Saru, and has been his protege like forever. She is also incredible. So I'm still very excited for the future of the studio.
Yeah, I've heard good things from people in the industry who have worked with them, who have said that, you know, she's his right-hand lady. She really helps keep him in check, and she like knows the vibes.
Yeah.
To put it in the worst way possible. She knows the vibes. So everything is well left in her hands. So I'm excited to see what projects she'll spearhead and, you know, bring to us in the future.
There's a movie coming up, right?
Ooh.
From Science Saru. I don't know if
something
it's
like that.
I don't know if Yuasa was involved in that one or not.
I'm not sure.
Ride Your Wave. Ride Your Wave
That
is out. Inu O is
I feel like I've
the upcoming
definitely heard
one.
of
I
that.
don't remember anything about it, but I think that's going to be like his last project.
Yes.
With Science Art at least.
Oh, that sounds so sad when you put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is once again a team up with the mangaka behind Ping Pong.
Oh, that's why I heard of it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's
so
go.
that's
We're in
supposed to
this.
come out in 2021, so hype for that.
Yeah. Keep your eyes open for that. So that was Eizouken. And now we have the other biggest show of the season for another type of reason, and it is Ishuzoku Reviewers.
Oh boy.
You know, all of the tea got spilled immediately after we recorded our first 3 episodes on this and released the episode. Like, everything happened
In like
after
2
that.
weeks, it became super outdated.
Yeah.
Because number
It
one,
was
we were like, hey, it's on Funimation, and then Funimation takes it down.
Yeah, like, it went from, oh, this one is, like, kind of hentai, to, like, yeah, so this is hentai, and Funimation has dropped it, along with a lot of other broadcasters in Japan and worldwide, and it became an interesting talking point over how hentai was it, and why did you guys not know how hentai this was going to be before
Right, yeah.
licensing it?
Like,
So it was, like, people clowning on everyone for various reasons, the most prominent being lack of foresight into like what this project would be, and then a lot of people feeling you know just kind of clowning on them dropping it mid-season.
But I don't know. I kind of want to believe it might be reviewers' fault. I feel like maybe they were just trolling everyone, because there was episode 4 or something. There was a joke about how it was going to be, oh, this is the last episode. And that was literally the week before it got dropped from
Really?
TV stations.
Yeah, and I did hear that they... Oh yeah, go ahead.
And then also, there was another TV station, like in the same episode, there was something, like there was just a shot of this one woman on a boat. And the show got replaced by a show about boats. So I'm just like, wait a minute, did they plan this? Did they?
Did they like cancel themselves for promotion?
the absolute mad lads.
Yeah, and I forget what I was gonna say. Yeah, totally blanked on what I was gonna say. Probably not important. But it's like an interesting case of just like a series kind of getting canceled by people mid-season. And this is what I was going to say. I did hear that in some form of defense for Funimation and other people broadcasting the series, that the manga was a lot less lewd than the anime, which often never happens.
Yeah.
It's often like the other way around. So like I can kind of get it, but it's still really funny. So
yeah, it's definitely hilarious if nothing else.
It's hilarious. And we'd be remiss to mention the Nuxtaku situation, which was like, I think people found it either funny or stupid. Maybe like they had more harsh opinions on it. I'm kind of in the middle of finding it funny and stupid, where he kind of led a campaign of people to get it to the top of Mal, and then it did, and Mal got really angry, and like a bunch of people were mad at him and thought he was like, what is it, like, what is the word where they just are like, not like rigging the website, but
just brigading it.
Brigading the website. And, you know, it was like an interesting situation, because I remember like Chihayafuru season 3 coming out, and there was the whole mix up with, you know, the mangaka liking a tweet saying like, speaking out against China for trying to shut down the Hong Kong protesters. So then a bunch of Chinese bots went on Mal and like tanked the score of Chihayafuru season 3, and Mal didn't do anything about it for like 6 months. But then, you know, as soon as the Ishuzoku Reviewers, I'm still saying it wrong, Eizouken Reviewers, yeah, as soon as that came out, like, it was like immediate action to like try and, you know, get the score taken care of. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I get it, but I just thought it was kind of like, it was a weird look on Mal's part too.
I don't think it was immediate. I think like it was just really good timing, because I think like when I checked the Mal thread, like talking about like vote manipulation, like it got started, I think, by the Chihayafuru thing, and then like it was just a work.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was like a work in progress, and they were planning to implement it like at the end of February, which is what they ended up doing, which just happened to be right after Ishuzoku got super brigaded. So
okay, that makes.
It was
more
just
sense.
a really fortunate timing to make it look like Mal was being on their shit when they weren't.
Yeah, and I know that they didn't like specifically call him out, but they're like some dumb YouTuber who has too much time on their hands, so they were like definitely salty about it.
Yeah,
but that makes more sense that it's a work in progress.
I mean,
and then it just happens. Then, yeah, I mean, like it makes sense. I think it makes sense, but then it's also kind of like, why is your website easily brigaded? I don't know. I think his actions were pretty stupid, but theirs were kind of too, for like, I don't know, because I'm still not even sure if he like actively brigaded it, if it was a bunch of people who like already had Mal accounts who just rated it a 10, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's kind of
my understanding, and let it be clearly stated that I don't know any of this for certain, because I think this entire thing is incredibly
bad word
and didn't pay any attention to it. But my understanding through osmosis is that he like told his viewers to go brigade the website as revenge for whatever.
I think it was a fuck Funimation thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why.
I think his way of phrasing it was like, they're trying to cancel this show, let's uncancel it by making it one of the first shows that people see when they go on My Anime List.
Right. And I'm like, can you imagine giving a shit about that?
Yeah.
Right?
Imagine giving a shit.
What kind of person cares whether your porn gets dropped from Funimation?
Yeah. It was like, I think the whole thing is like very stupid. Like all of it was really dumb and very funny.
The only thing I care about, the only thing that I think is funny is that people always talk about My Anime List as like, oh, you know, My Anime List, you know, their taste is bad, their scores are always bad. Just ignore My Anime List scores. And then suddenly, the moment someone manipulates them, oh, you are disrupting the sanctity of My Anime List scores. How dare you?
Yeah, it's like people love to pretend to not care about My Anime List scores, but when it's convenient for them, that's like the Holy Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, the hypocrisy on My Anime List scores will go down in history for generations. And it's like, yeah, we get it. Like, just, like, pick and choose whenever My Anime List counts for you.
Right.
We get it. Yeah, but I guess speaking about the actual show, I know Maz saw
Speaking of things that actually matter, Ishuzoku Reviewers is an amazing show for many reasons. Now, you might be thinking that this is a meme, but no, it's really not. It's truly a great anime. This is probably the best ecchi anime that has ever existed. Granted, I haven't seen a lot of ecchi anime, but I also feel pulled back by them a lot, where they'll tease you, right, with all the sex stuff, but you know that they want to go further, that they want to go all the way, you know, they really want to put it in there. But then there's just something about it that they just have to stop.
Won't do it, no balls.
Exactly. Sorry to panic, and I've already told him this, it doesn't matter. But Monster Musume, right? You know, first episode, you've got, you know, super hot monster girls, you know, giant titties everywhere, girls super into him, obviously wants to ride his dick, and then, like, literally every single time there's something erotic happening, a literal police officer has to come, hey! You can't have sex with her, just saying.
Is that the premise of Monster Musume?
That is literally the plot of
Monster.
Monster.
Smash.
That is hilarious.
Smashing
Wait, I
is
didn't
not
know
allowed.
that.
It's a really funny show. Like, Monster Musume is like a hysterical show.
That's awesome.
I think it probably works better as like a comedy than like a true. Well, it is an ecchi, but you know, it's a funny ecchi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it can be funny in those ways, but like reviewers really will go there. It really will go all the way, and it's so funny. And the best part about it is that the other thing about ecchi anime is that even the ones that kind of do go all the way, you realize that they just exist for the fetish material, you know? So there are some that I've seen one episode of because I'm like, ooh, tits, wow! I don't get to see that very often. But then it's like, I watch the second episode and I'm like, oh, there's nothing else to this show whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Dropped. Reviewers actually presents this really well thought out world. It's not just about a bunch of sex shops. Well, I mean, it is about a bunch of sex, but like it really thinks about how a world like this can function, how the effects of these people who are writing reviews, you know, creating media can actually affect like the reviews that they write actually have an impact on a species' popularity. You know, they like people rip them off later on. Like people start doing their own reviews, and the main characters look at them like, "What the fuck? This is some bullshit."
Yeah.
All right. Half joking, would you say that it is a deconstruction of monster girl porn?
Only
sure. Half joking.
Why not? Maybe, yeah.
Joking if you disagree, not joking if you agree.
What even is a deconstruction? I've lost it.
I guess it just like takes the genre and flips it on its head.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it's the best one to do it. Because it not only, I mean, I would say one flaw with reviewers, like maybe one thing holding this back from being like an actual 10 out of 10, is that it doesn't get very creative with its monster girls. It's very safe with like, you know, fairies and harpies and squid girls and slimes and things like that. You know, Panic was extremely, sorely disappointed that there were no spider girls, and I feel for him, you know. So
it's very tough to make spider girls work. I just kind of a vibe I get.
Yeah, sure, but whatever. It's fine. What else was I going to say? I don't know. There's a lot to love about reviewers. Very funny, genuinely funny. I mean, I don't know. It's been a while, so I've kind of missed lots of points that I could have made. But Reviewers is a really, really... It's the kind of show that you look at it and you're like, oh, this is going to be the greatest show of all time. But I feel like, again, there are lots of shows where you see that and you're like, oh, greatest show of all time. You watch one episode and then be like, yeah, hilarious. Watch the second episode. Oh, there's actually nothing to this. This is just kind of just a dumb meme. You know, Reviewers is a great full-length 12-episode series. It's really incredible how much it lives up to expectations, just how far it goes and how well it executes its own premise. It also has genuinely my favorite character this season, which is this angel boy girl question mark. It's not really
seen
clear.
That thing.
Yeah,
yeah
that thing.
They look like, because I wasn't sure, but I'm like, that looks like that's an it. I'm not sure.
It is genuinely. I mean, everyone refers to him as a boy because he just thinks it's more convenient if everyone assumes he's a boy, but he's got both.
Okay.
So officially,
real like classic biblical angel shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keeping it biblical.
Yeah.
That's definitely interesting to hear, because I feel like a lot of times with ecchi series, there aren't too many times when people finish them and they're like, you know what, that was worth watching, you should watch it. So I think the fact that you're so animate about like how good it is a testament to, you know, how good it is.
Yeah, because it just has so many different things that you can love about it. Like it's got, you know, the basic sex jokes, like the two of the main characters, Stunk and Zell, the human and the elf, they're like, you know, just typical sleazy sort of guys. But then Krim, the angel, is like someone who's a lot more, I guess you could say, respectful. Like he's actually going to go into a sex shop and he's like, yeah, I'm going to pay to have sex with this woman, but, you know, in a way that actually respects her, you know. It's not just, it's like, I don't have to get into super detail about that, but I love that character a lot. And especially, you know, he starts off really innocent because, of course, he's an angel. You know, he's supposed to be nice like that. But then he slowly, gradually, over the course of the series, he gets more and more into it, to the point where he starts going to shops on his own. And, you know, Stunk and Zell, they joke about like, hey, yeah, Krim's actually the horniest one out of all of us. I've described him as like horny on main, but doesn't want to admit it. That's how he
Horny
is.
on main, but, you know, visiting various sex shops and reviewing.
And of course, last point is that for some reason, this series has a great appreciation for witch hats. It truly has a fantastic fascination with witch hats, because there are so many of them. There's one episode where there's a shop about making these marionettes. You know, you could literally create your own girl. And so the receptionist, the front counter, behind this girl, there's a shelf, and it's got all of these heads and in all these different cubbies. But for some reason, in just one random cubby, instead of a head, there is just a single witch hat just placed there. Why is it there? What is the context of that? Like, I don't. And objectively, the best girl that they reviewed, like the one that they gave a unanimous 10 out of 10 to, everyone, big titty witch hat magician girl.
So realistic.
You have found your people.
The show was probably made for you. They knew.
In a way, it was.
They just knew the vibes.
They know what's up.
Were you gonna say something, Sinners?
I was just gonna say that, like, this is not a show I'm going to watch, but I respect it immensely. Like,
yeah, I think that's a great way.
It sounds like it knows what it's about and did it well.
Yeah, I feel that too. That's because I probably might check it out, you know, just to see what's up, because, you know, it's not just like, oh, it's good for the memes. Like, no, it's genuinely good. I might just check it out to see, but, you know, no matter what, I do respect it. If
you can stomach it, you will absolutely love it. The only reason why you could possibly hate it is if you just hate sex, essentially.
Well, now the pressure's on. Now I have something to prove, so thank you for throwing the gauntlet down. If you just hate sex, you'll hate it. And it's like, damn it. There it is. Then I'll like find an update, be like, confirmed, hate sex. Oz did this. Thank you.
Sex ruined my life.
Sex ruined my life. Funimation ended sex. Thank you. Yeah, so
thank God. Fortunately, Ishuzoku Reviewers invented sex.
Ishuzoku Reviewers invented sex. Bless up. So next up, we have another show that's... I don't want to tie it into Ishuzoku Reviewers. I can't even say it still. I hate it. So we have Hanako-kun, and I know that Nar is a huge fan of this. I unfortunately did not get past the first episode, of no fault of the series, just my own fault. But I'm interested to hear what you guys have to think about this one.
Okay, yeah. So I liked what they did with it. It's not perfect as like an adaptation, but like honestly, with what they were working with, I don't see how they could have tried better. Because like the first main hurdle that they really got over was adapting the art style, which was, they did a pretty good job. Like a lot of the frames look pretty in the show, and a lot of them are really like complex with like different line thickness and just generally a really hard aesthetic to pull off. And it's by the same director as Kuzuno Honkai and Gakko Garashi. So it's got that like, it's got this really nice direction to it that like, since they have like, they put more detail into making one frame really pretty than animating a bunch of less pretty frames. So it's more like, it's more moving manga, but like, it's better that way.
But it works.
Because a lot of the appeal of like the original manga is like the atmosphere that like the art provides. And I think they like do a pretty good job of like putting that into motion. And
is this the toilet ghost one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Toilet
Ghost Hanako-kun.
I love the toilet ghost.
What a title.
But that's like the weirdest thing. Like whenever you want to say, hey, you want to watch the show? And it's like, what it's called? It's like Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. It's like, people are like, what?
No, I don't.
Is this some like weird, like perverted, like school harem thing? It's like, no. It's like supernatural, like comedic romance, mild horror. It's not like really scary, but it's got like creepiness.
It's just Moaning Myrtle, but the Shoujo version. Yeah, no one wants to admit it, but it's been Harry Potter weekend every weekend, and every time I see Moaning Myrtle, I'm like, so Hanako-kun. Like,
oh my god, Shaw, just like read another book. What the fuck? You're not allowed to talk about Harry Potter.
Everyone is cursed. If I'm cursed, you guys are cursed.
I know, yeah. Like,
I'm definitely cursed.
Also, like, another thing that, like, I don't, like, when I started the season with this, I was like, I don't know where you're ending the show, because there's no good place to end with, like, normal pacing. And so what they just ended up doing was, like, switching up, like, a couple of arcs at the end and, like, cutting some stuff, which is, like, manga readers don't like what they left out, but for an anime experience, I feel like it's good. It, like, gets the point across. It doesn't feel like you're missing something when you watch it with no knowledge of the manga. Yeah.
Well,
it's just like a really good attempt. It didn't like always work. Like towards like the second half of the show, there was like quite a bit of like animation errors, and like there was this weird thing where like lip syncing would be off, which is like such a rare.
That's odd.
Yeah,
rare
I don't think
error.
I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
It was like not extremely off, but it was off enough to go like, wait, what?
Yeah, if it's off enough to notice, then that's definitely off.
But
crazy.
Yeah, and they did a good job at that. Like, they put a great amount of effort into like portraying the characters pretty well. Like, I love Hanako because he's just like a piece of shit, but like, I'm into this kind of like, they're a piece of shit, but they're like kind of sweet. Even once
the wholesome piece of shit.
Like, they will fuck with you, but like, there's no harm most of the time.
They don't mean it.
Yeah. And then there's the main girl, Nene, which honestly the anime made her like way better for me, because like
that's
in
good.
the manga, like it's labeled as a shonen, but it feels very shoujo because there's a lot of like romantic teasing between Hanako and Nene, but like in the anime, Nene has like a lot more personality, and I think that's like thanks to her voice actor, who I mean hasn't done much but is like getting pretty big. But they were the voice actor of Nezuko, so they're like big, but like they're starting. So I'm excited.
Oh, cool.
Be like, yeah, like for her first like proper performance.
Yeah.
So this is what she sounds like.
But big in the sense that they voice a character who doesn't talk.
Yeah. But yeah, like for her first performance as like a proper main character, she did a really solid job of like being spunky. Like Nene's like, she's like kind of like a bitch, but like she's not like a bitch and like a mean bitch. She's like a coward sort of, but like she goes along with it, mostly because she just has like a super like secret interest in like occult stuff, which is like, I don't think that's a thing. Like that's like one thing I'm like not like very happy with, is like they didn't portray like how like she's low-key super into occult shit, because like her character design is like, she literally has like skull all over her character design, and she just looks like she's inspired by some like gothic supernatural shit, but like she seems more afraid of everything, which is like fair, because everything is terrifying as shit when you're like basically almost dying, like whenever you get fucked with by supernaturals. But like, yeah.
But she was naturally into it, so it kind of makes more sense why she'd be drawn
like the
to
thing
him.
is like the show starts off with her like she's like interested in like, I guess like I should explain that, like since like the main like base of like all the supernaturals is that there's 7 wonders, and like those are like the big supernaturals. So like she's like interested in like the rumors of like what these supernatural things are. So that's what like that's the whole like start of the show. That's how she meets Hanako, because she's like she heard the rumor of like Hanako in the girls' bathroom, and was like she's like terrified, but she was just like so interested in it. And then she was like, "Wait, what? You're not a chick?" Because like it's based off like a Japanese urban legend about Hanako-san, which is a girl that haunts like girls' bathrooms. But Hanako is a boy in this. It's a good boy, but to the confusion of Nene. And yeah, it's just really cool. It's really good at doing what it could. Because honestly, like this is such a hard thing to adapt. So with what they had and what they did, I think it's still a pretty good show, especially like if you don't have like the knowledge of what they're cutting out. It's like genuinely a nice experience. There's like a good amount of romance and mystery and like comedy. It's just a really nice show.
Nice. That's good. That is good that it worked out well, especially since you're a big fan of the source. Yeah. So I know that Maz dropped it. I'm not sure if you wanted to talk about it too much.
The hot takes.
It was just a weird show for me. Like I just mentioned, I just said that I don't know if it was a bad adaptation or if it just started really slow, or it's just not my thing. I just thought it was boring and it wasn't really funny. That's kind of it. The most interesting thing is that I think it opens up a discussion as to what makes an anime adaptation good, because like Hanako-kun literally is moving manga. It is quite literally the manga panels that have been colored and then you added sound to them. You know, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's just, you know, that's my point. Like, I personally wouldn't really want to watch more anime like this, but I mean, I guess it is something to appreciate. Like, it has a, like, it kind of owns its style and it's very consistent, but if a bunch of shows looked like this, I'm like, nah, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, it's definitely like, it definitely relies heavily on making that work through like the atmosphere. Because like, there's really like, there's only like a few like action-y segments, but most of it is just like characters looking around or talking to each other. So it doesn't like need to move most of the time. So it's definitely not the worst case of like moving manga, which is, you take those, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I thought, like, from the episode I saw, it kind of felt, like, very much intentional, not a sense of, like, it's not moving manga because they don't have the resources. It felt like they knew that the strength of the series was the detailed background art, and that's what they wanted to go with over movement. So, those were the vibes I got, but I think it is definitely, like, a stylistic choice, and it either, you know, works with you or it doesn't.
Yeah, I think it could be very hit or miss, but, like, it's a very good hit if it hits.
Yeah, for sure. So
it's at least better directed than Astra Lost in Space.
Ooh, last year shade, I think. Oh no, yeah, that is. Yeah, I mixed that up with the Astra
Lost in Space, catching stray shots in the street.
Stray
totally
asteroids.
Uncalled for.
Well, it's the same director.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, then it is
that's
called.
That's why I brought it up.
Right, got it. Okay.
I was like, why are you thinking of this?
That's the bad moving manga.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Well, that's good to know. So the next one, we do have one that's more on Maz's page, and that's Magia Records, the Gacha Girl Madoka anime. So I forget, did you finish it too, Sinners?
I did. Yeah. Can someone clear up for me? Is it cool to hate this show or not?
Probably both.
I think
probably both. I don't know anyone who's like actively loves it but Maz, so I guess it is the Junie Tyson of winter 2020.
Everyone is entitled to their opinion, but if you don't like it, then I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, it's the Junie Tyson of 2020.
Right. I did like it, but I felt like I was the only one, but I'm not sure where I got that idea from. Aside from Maz, obviously, because I know Maz.
I think some people were underwhelmed by it, but I haven't heard like specific reasons why they were underwhelmed.
Here's a specific reason why they were underwhelmed. Because they thought this was going to be Madoka 2.0. And it's not Madoka 2.0. It's a completely different show. That's it.
Yeah, it seems fair enough. Yep. Yeah. So I guess, why do you guys like it so much compared to some people who don't like it?
I don't know. I thought it was just solid. Like, there are Like, some of the characters are not great. I would say the only really good character in the show is Yachio. Is that her name?
Yachio's
the blue one.
Yes.
And then also the white-haired girl who was like her former partner and is now one of the Wings of the Magus. I thought the two of them had a really good dynamic, had good history together, were pretty compelling. Everyone else was just kind of there.
The best character hasn't really shown up, which is Alina Gray. She's the one with the green hair who is a psychopath and just doesn't give a fuck about anyone.
The one scene she's in, I hated her.
Oh no!
And she's got like that. She's got a super annoying voice and that like weird quirk where she talks in Italian, but like obviously can't pronounce anything.
That sounds familiar.
Although she does have like the biggest pog moment in literally the last second of the show where she name drops the Walpurgis Night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a miss. Otherwise we're on the same page, Maz.
Sure. The thing about Magia Record is that the story and the characters, as they are now within this first season, aren't necessarily the driving force. Like they're not that great, admittedly. And the big problem with that is that it just takes too long to really get to the point. It's not until like the very last episode where you're like, oh, that's where they're going with this.
Yeah.
And it is interesting once you get there, but then before that, it's kind of jumbled up. There's lots of different things going on. Like it starts off with Iroha looking for her missing sister, and that like is like totally forgotten about at several points. And then you got Yachio's arc and so many different things, right? Mm-hmm. The main thing that I love about Magia Record that really just kept me engaged with it the whole way through is it's so well presented. Like this is
definitely
this is easily one of the most Shaft shows out there. It's just every scene is just balls to the wall Shaft, and it's so sick.
Yeah. I think that like it had ups and downs for me in like the sense of the kind of story it was focusing on. Like I thought the first couple episodes were pretty good. And then once Iroha gets to Kamihama City, it has a pretty significant drop off. I felt where she's just kind of like fucking around with some of the other magical girls and like nothing interesting is happening, and it's just like this interpersonal drama between these three characters we've known for like 10 minutes total. But then once it gets past that and and like the Wings of the Magus are introduced and we start seeing more of like the overarching mysteries being addressed, then I thought it got pretty good, and then the last 2 or 3 episodes were excellent.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the craziest thing about it from the end is like I have a hard time seeing how the bad guys are the bad guys, right? You know?
Yeah.
Like I think that would probably be my biggest criticism, because I don't think it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be a little like morally gray, but I don't think it's supposed to be that morally gray, because like their goal of, you know, like basically declaring war on Kyubey and stopping magical girls from becoming witches is obviously a good thing, but I think we're supposed to believe that, you know, the way they're going about it is not good. But I don't think the show is ever clear enough on, you know, what's bad about the Uwasas or the Doppels in order to make me actually think that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what your point. I guess I shouldn't really say anything because I've played the story in the game beyond this point. There's a little more that gets revealed.
Okay. Was it ever figured out? I remember people back when it was starting thinking that it might be like a split core. Is there going to be any more of it?
There is a second season confirmed.
Okay, there is. Cool. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. So we can see more in hopefully not the too distant future, but no one knows with the current state we're in. So
yeah,
stay tuned. So the next one we have is Inspector, and I'm gonna turn that back over to Boz because I think you liked the girl from that a lot. I think.
Yeah, the Kotoko. she was great.
Handamachi?
What's that?
Oh, wait. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of the other. I'm getting the two detective shows mixed up again.
Did anyone else watch this?
I did not, no.
I didn't either. Whoops.
Okay. Well, there was sort of a split decision that I had at the very beginning of the season where I would either watch Inspector or ID Invaded, and I went with Inspector, and they were both shows were compared to each other at the start of the season because they were both these kind of mystery anime. So I thought it would be interesting to see where they would end. Namely because ID Invaded is completely original, Inspector is a manga adaptation. So I thought if nothing else, ID Invaded it could go anywhere, but I expected Inspector to be a lot more consistent because I thought the first episodes were really great. I thought the characters were really great. So I thought it would be really surprising if this show turned out to be anything more than just solid.
Bet you thought.
And what I really did not expect is this anime to turn into a theory war on X, the paranormal board on 4chan, for 8 fucking episodes.
Can you please explain what that means?
I literally mean the two people just fucking post on 4chan for 8 episodes. That's what the show
literally
becomes.
Post on 4chan.
I mean, not 4chan itself.
But
yeah, so the main conflict that it eventually sets up to, the first few episodes are kind of episodic, which are fine. I like them a lot. And then it goes into this arc where there's this specter called Steel Lady Nanase who's going around attacking people with a steel beam, right? Okay, so the point of this, the origin of this, is that it is based off of a rumor, right? So because people imagined this, it has come into life. So the way to solve this is to essentially, disprove the rumors or just make people stop believing in the rumor, which is fine. That's not a bad that's just not a bad plot point at all. That does sound interesting, and you can do interesting things with that. But it goes on forever. I don't even know what to say. It's I'm trying to think of what happens, and nothing happens. It's just the show just dies.
That is a really weird hang-up to run into.
Yeah, the only thing I've heard about this show is people being this was a great show, and then I hated the rest of it so much. People struggling to finish it just because it never ended.
It really did start off really, really well, and then it got so hard to sit through throughout the entire second half because you're just Jesus Christ, just end this arc, please. I get, because they have to go over everything. It's they have to go through every single detail about how this can be an airtight theory that can be 100% whatever. I don't want to draw this out too long, the show. The point is that it falls off very, very hard.
You want to do the opposite of the show.
Yeah.
The main problem is that it has such great characters in the beginning who all have such great dynamics with each other, and then the second half has none of that. It's just theory posting. It's just theory crafting.
Is the goat girl still good?
She's fine, yeah. She's still a good character.
Okay, so we've got that.
That's good at least. Yeah. Well, got that at least.
Would you shitpost on 4chan with Kotoko for $1 trillion? That's it.
Well, I guess we can move on to the next one and see how Smile on the Runway turned out.
Pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It was good. This is an example of something that's it's not really a great adaptation, but it's still a good show.
Yeah, I heard a lot of manga readers unhappy.
Yeah.
Because they blitzed through the source material from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Where they skipped a lot of stuff, cut a lot of stuff. And it does kind of show there are some things that happen really fast. Like, I remember Kokoro, the tall purple-haired girl, like, she gets introduced, and then, like, before the halfway mark, she has, like, this huge emotional moment where she's all crying and shit. And I'm just like, I don't know you at all. What is happening?
Man, this is a Wendy's. Yeah, I feel that. She was definitely the weakest character in the show, largely for that reason. She just kind of, like, is introduced and then suddenly is the most important thing. Other than that, though, like, if I hadn't heard from everybody that they were blitzing through the material, I wouldn't have guessed that. The pacing didn't seem that bad to me. Maybe that's just, like, me not knowing what I'm talking about or what, but that was not, like, an issue that I had with the story at all. I think more my problem with it was just that, like, some of the character writing is, like, really base level. You know, like, the main boy has his, like, his whole conflict is about, like, his family is poor and his mom
I need to make
is
the
sick.
money so I can save my family. My family is dying.
Right.
That is the
Yeah,
arc.
like, we've heard this before.
Yeah, A, we've heard it before, and B, like, it felt like the conflict there was not really organic. Like, it only existed so that whenever anything good was going to happen for him, they could throw this in the face and say, oh, wait, but there are problems. You know? Like, his whole family only existed in order to, like, make things hard for his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
They existed to make my career seem harder to achieve.
Right. Aside from that, I really like the main girl.
She's great.
The biggest disappointment to me is that the show is, like, not nearly as much about her as it is about him. But overall, I think it was a pretty solid show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely solid. The best parts about it, in my opinion, are, like, the sort of industry aspects of it, but just how brutal it is.
Yeah, I agree.
This actually does extreme tone shifts in a really, really great way. Like, it'll really just hit you with a right hook. Where there's a scene of the main character where he's essentially working for this really prodigious fashion designer who's only a few years older than him, but he's, like, you know, this huge up and coming designer who's got, you know, big chip on his shoulder. Everyone expects great things for him, and this guy is working for him, right? You know, so that's cool. And these two are getting along really well, and this other guy is like, yeah, I'm really happy you're going to be working for me as, like, a pattern maker. And he's like, oh, ha ha ha, I don't really want to be a pattern maker, though. I want to be an actual designer. And then just, like, 0.00001 seconds later, do you really think you can be a designer? You're actually fucking garbage. You have no future whatsoever. You're completely it's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. It's cool. And, fuck, what was I just about to say?
Sorry.
No, I lost it. Oh, one thing, this is unrelated, but something I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder towards the series about is that, like, obviously it is, like, big fashion. Like, the fashion that's in it is pretty good. Like, the person clearly knows, like, the person who wrote it clearly knows their stuff.
Oh, yeah.
However, the show, like, could not give less of a shit about men's fashion.
That
Like,
does seem pretty realistic to real life.
Yeah. Every female character is, like, impeccably well dressed. Like, all of the designs, there are multiple, like, runway shows in it. So each episode shows, like, must have, like, 30 or 40 different outfits like on main display in addition to all of the characters. They all look good, and then all of the main characters just wear like t-shirts.
The main character looks like such a prune.
Yeah. It's like even like Ayano To, who's supposed to be like the hottest shit, like biggest upcoming male designer, just wears like jeans and a t-shirt in every scene.
Mm.
I'm trying to think back to like Project Runway and think of like how authentic that was. And like I could see some people being like, this is just my vibe, like I make jeans and a t-shirt work, but like, you know, as you said, they should do a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, it doesn't really detract that much from the show because it's clearly just like not what the story cares about. But it was a weird bit of incongruity for me, especially as someone who like mildly cares about fashion myself, that I wasn't really able to get anything out of the fashion show of the season.
Yeah.
The only thing I know is that men's fashion incorporates straight lines and women's fashion incorporates curves. Okay.
Yep.
I learned something.
Yeah.
I like a fashion show though. We don't get those very often. The only other one I can even really think of is Paradise Kiss.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's a good
I still
show.
have to peep that.
Big recommend by the same woman who wrote Nana, which is a great show.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So you know it's a banger.
Yeah.
That's why I know about it.
And you know it's got some great fashion because both Nana and Paradise Kiss have top tier fashion for girls and guys.
Yeah, and Paradise Kiss is literally about like a fashion school and everything like this one. So
yeah,
check that shit out. It's better than Smile Down the Runway.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Guess we'll make a straight line into the other Maz show of the season, Darwin's Game.
Certified Maz classic, Darwin's Game. So we like to make our memes. We like to make our jokes about the
Junie fucking Tyson
of the season. But I just want to point out the main thing. So the plot of
Junie Tyson,
the setup of it, the context of it, is that it is this death game that is organized in a city, and they do this by the organizers somehow clear out a city of 500,000 people so that way they can have this completely empty venue for everyone to fight in, right? There is a point in Darwin's Game where they all gather, like all the players gather in Shibuya, and then the organizers of the event like magically mind control all the pedestrians to go the fuck home and get out. So basically what I'm saying is that this is literally the
Here is a semi-normal one though. Junie Tyson
of the season. It's the same show.
But which is better?
Junie Tyson.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just rewatch.
I ran out of sound clips. Go to the Discord server and give me sound bits to use for the times I say Junie Tyson. That's the joke. That's funny.
Yeah. Darwin's Game is fun. It's good. But it's that kind of stupid fun. I don't know. I don't have much to say about it.
Somehow you still got it across pretty well. Like I think we all like can perfectly picture it, and
we all know exactly the sort of show you're talking about.
We all exactly know what you're talking about.
It's like it's almost like a safe sort of like edgelord show that people make fun of, because this is a very popular show, one of the most popular of the season, and people like lots of people are watching it, and to the point where lots of people are liking it. But I don't know. I just don't think there's a whole lot about it that's good. I think the main girl just sucks and is whatever. Although I will say that biggest problem is that people are comparing this main character. People are putting down my boy Yukiteru from Mirai Nikki and saying, yeah, the main character of Darwin's Game is so much better than that kid. Here's what I want to know. All right, everyone hates Yukiteru because he is constantly such a fucking little baby bitch boy. But the main character of Darwin's Game, he is as much of a baby bitch boy as Yukiteru in the very beginning. But then a couple episodes later, he just stops. He just kind of becomes a completely different character, and then he becomes faceless action hero guy with no sort of context or development whatsoever. Is that really
people love that shit.
Being a better character?
Well, the twist is that Yukitaro also does that. Because I remember the scars of my past, and I remember him just straight up being like, well, I don't want to spoil that, but yes, I mean, he does the same thing.
No, Yukitaro changes at like episode 20 after like the entire show has happened and lots of things have happened to him.
But he doesn't like progressively change. He
It's
just, like,
a good show. Shut up.
I said to Maz, I'm like, I'll let you like Mirai Nikki. I'll let you like, I draw the line at Yuki. I'm not playing. I do not fuck with that. Absolute mud ass. But I'll let everything else. I'll let you love the opening, like literally everything but Yukitaro. I can't do it. That's my line.
He will not take that line down.
I'm not saying this guy is better. I didn't see the show. He's probably just as bad or worse, He's probably more unmemorable. So that's kind of worse, but yeah, I mean, Yuki bad.
Nice.
No.
That's it.
But the one thing I will give credit for where credit is due, Darwin's game, the popularity on my enemy list, literally right now, I'm taking a screen cap of it and putting it on screen right now. It is number 666.
Ooh,
Okay,
that's
well,
lit.
Now it's worth. Now it makes sense.
Perfect edgelord show.
I can't watch it because then I might mess up the popularity number. So no one touch this show. We need
No one touched
we need
this
it to
show
stay here.
or any others.
Yeah, no one watch. Don't touch my anime list
Put
for
my
different
enemy
reasons
list
than
under
before.
quarantine. No one's getting in or out.
Social distance yourself from my anime list to keep this score. Yeah. Well, we always have a fun time with the mod shows of the season. Even when we don't watch them, just hearing you talk about them kind of feels like we were along for the ride.
Yeah. I feel like I've just learned everything I needed to know about Darwin's game.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I was there. So, thank you, Maz. Very cool. I guess we have the NAR show of the season, because you wanted to rant about this, and we didn't talk about this last time. And this is number 24. Okay. I literally know nothing about this show.
Same.
It's a sports show about rugby, but it's like not, because they don't fucking play rugby. But like, so it's one of these like shows that are like aimed at a female audience. They got like a bunch of pretty boys and whatever, and like they sell it off the pretty boys. But this show is like one of the most insufferable pretty boy shows you could watch. Like, I don't like, okay, there's this one decision they make in episode 1. There's like this giant cast, and like one of these people that's supposed to like appeal to someone is this like super fat, ugly dude who is like, whose gimmick is that he sweats so much and his sweat smells terrible. So like, this is like halfway into the first episode, he just like walks up to the main character in like a lecture hall and he's like, sup, and then he's like super sweaty, and then he just like sweat starts falling from his body all over this dude's like seat, and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Who is into this? Like, it's played off as a joke, but it's genuinely disgusting. Like, I don't...
Who wanted this?
Like, why would you put this
Whose
in
fetish
this?
is this?
Like, it's... I can't see how anyone, like, you make... Like, I get if you made a show for, like, this really, really specific niche audience, and this was just the entire show. But, like, it's a bunch of pretty boys, and then there's just this one fat, sweaty dude who stinks. And it's like...
So it's like...
I don't...
It's like already assuming that it's a female audience, so it's like, which girl is into the fat, sweaty dude? Like,
yeah.
Where are they? Reveal yourself and speak up.
I guess, like...
I would love to see who they are, because I genuinely don't think any human
Is this guy supposed to be, like, an antagonist?
No, he's like... Okay, so this is, like, they're a college rugby team. So...
Yeah.
He's supposed to be pretty good at rugby. And they're all supposed to be, like, taking rugby seriously, because they're in the college league. But everyone just seems to, like, not give a fuck about playing rugby. All they just do is, like, talk to each other, like, on the field and don't actually do anything. So, like, he's just, like, one of the team members. And I'm like, I genuinely don't know why you had to include this person in this show. You could have just left this person out, and everything would have been so much better. But then it's, like...
Speaking...
even going beyond, like, them not playing rugby, like, at the end of, like, episode 2 for, like, their episode preview, they're like, we're not gonna play any rugby next episode, but hope you come back. And it's like, I really don't want to, because this show fucking...
Did they literally say that?
Yeah, like, no, yeah, they're like, they, like, verbatim said, we're not gonna play rugby, but, like, come watch next week. And I'm like, no.
I'm like, bold move to be so upfront about it. Be like, we're not doing
they're like
shit.
trying to be
Come
real.
back,
Like,
though.
yeah, we know we're not actually trying to be a sports show. We're really trying to be like a pretty boy show. But like, both parts are bad. Like, they play, yeah.
They're not pretty and they're not sports.
Like, yeah, this show doesn't look like, they don't look ugly, but they're not pretty either. They're like, it's mid in terms of like looking.
I just peeped the character designs, and this dude, Uchinashi, has like the worst highlighted hair I've ever seen. And Sinris will appreciate this. They got Dimitri from Fire Emblem Three Houses. I just posted it in chat. This dude is essentially Dimitri.
Oh yeah, but it's the good Dimitri hair.
It's the good Dimitri hair.
I like this guy.
This guy's best guy.
This is a cute boy.
He's a pretty cute. I think out of all of them, he's like arguably the best, but like that's because the standards are so low where it's like
it's like the low bar.
Like, why does this guy have like a random red spot on his hair? Did he like drop a
It's not a good highlight. It's not good. It's like they tried to go for highlighters, but they did like halfway.
It's like someone just accidentally splashed him with some hair dye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't like. There's like they're all supposed to have like gimmicks in their personality, so like you can latch on. And like the main dude's gimmick is that like he doesn't play rugby anymore because he got into a motorcycle accident and he fucked up whatever. I don't even know what part of his body he fucked up, but he fucked up something.
Oh yeah.
But
I thought when you said he doesn't play rugby anymore, I was expecting like your classic anime, like stupid emotional turmoil about like my
childhood. There's stupid emotional turmoil because this second dude you posted is like his like best friend, and they used to be like a rugby like pair or whatever. But like he was like I think he was driving the motorcycle, so he's like he feels guilty about the accident because he didn't get injured, so he also quits playing rugby.
No one on this team plays rugby, despite them all being in rugby things. Also,
I didn't watch all of this.
I love how they always have like one dude whose gimmick is obviously just the bottom. Like this dude wouldn't be on a rugby team. You know, this dude's personality is the bottom.
Yeah,
it's like you, Mashiro. He's got Hinata's voice actor. We know. Because that guy does like very feminine voices. Like he actually like could low-key sound like a female voice actress.
Yeah, this guy does not play rugby.
No, yeah.
He does not play rugby.
Everybody, just look at the main poster for the show. Everybody else is like built, and then there's
what is this?
He's like the only one who
this guy is doing in the front.
Yeah.
What is this pose? He's just pointing in this very affectionate way.
Okay, so that's like the thing. He's supposed to be like super sweet on the outside, but he's like actually like a super like smirk and like piece of shit. Yeah, smug asshole.
Okay,
but
yeah,
like super asshole. Like he's like nice to like all the other team members except the dude who's like feels guilty about like not like like about the motor.
He's like nice to them, but he's like low key. I blame you for my accident. Fuck you.
Okay, wait. Which one of these guys is the smelly one?
He's not even on.
Is he on the poster?
He is not on the poster. Thank fuck.
They don't even put him on the poster. He doesn't even have a Mal page.
Thank God, because I wish I could forget him. But like, yeah, his shtick is like being secretly like super mean person, but like only to specific members of the team. And I'm like, okay, but why? And just no, he's just like this. No one like complains about his like being a piece of shit and like fucking with people. He's just like whatever. So like they're like, okay, so you can't play rugby anymore, so let's make you the manager. But like he just does nothing, essentially. He ends up like that like this little like Shota dude. It ends up like being his like right hand man and like doing all the work for him, basically. Like he still does some work, but like he just like recruits the Shota because like this person doesn't play rugby. So
this is so far another great show. I'm not gonna watch this, but I love this.
Yeah,
quite terrible in some of the worst ways.
This
I love this.
I don't know if this is like a totally bullshit thing I'm about to say, but is it weirdly common for maybe not specifically sports anime, but just anime in general for someone to be in a motorcycle accident? Am I going crazy? I feel like I've heard of a lot of anime, and I can't even name specific examples, but I feel like the sort of thing about someone being in a motorcycle accident is like really common.
I feel that too. I'm not sure if it's just like anime or everything, but I do feel like motorcycle accident is the go-to.
I think that's just real life.
Yeah, in real life, they also choose this
I can't
trope.
think of any other anime I've ever seen with a motorcycle accident in it, but real life motorcycles just like are death machines.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm getting like when you talked about the motorcycle accident thing, I just got like a weird case of deja vu, and I have no idea why.
I feel like I was in that motorcycle accident myself. I feel like I've
It really
been there.
makes you feel like you're in a motorcycle accident. Number
Maz's
24.
repressed
I feel that.
memories from deep back in his past are stirring.
Maz was about to play rugby in college, and then he got in a motorcycle accident, and now he's on an anime
Now I'm in
podcast.
another world.
In another world without my motorcycle. I feel that, though. I don't know why, but I just feel like I'm surrounded by motorcycle accident tropes.
Okay,
Oh, well.
wait. Really quick,
So-
can I just say something about like the awful turmoil in this show? Because like, this
Yes.
other main dude quit because he was guilty, and then like, the dude who got injured was like, I want this dude to come back because he's really good at rugby. So like, he like totally like he like goes into his house without like permissions. Like, you're playing rugby, and I think he like blackmails him in some way to like come back to the team. So he comes back to the team, and then they have to like hold a vote. Are we letting him back on the team? And then everyone's just like, no, fuck this dude. He left the team. And I'm like, what was the point of having him come back to the team if no one wants him on? But they like let him on anyways for like some stupid like conclusion. But it's just like, I genuinely don't understand what was the point in any of this.
So they just had a lot of angst.
Yeah, it's
with
a lot of these like pretty boy shows try to have like angst because their characters are literally nothing besides like tools for plot to move. So like they tried to make like this emotional thing with like he feels guilty but he wants to play rugby or whatever. It's like no, I don't care. It doesn't seem like he cares either. He's just been vibing for as far as I can see. So yeah, I hate this show.
And this is an anime original, so that's pretty interesting.
I don't like why. If this is an anime original, where did like any like what was the starting?
Oh my god,
idea
this
of
is original.
Who started this? Was like, okay, we're gonna make a rugby show, but like we already have like that other bad rugby show, so let's make it better. But they make this instead, which is probably worse. Like I didn't watch All Out. I watched one episode, but I feel like that show would at least like try to play rugby and like try to not be this stupid fucking whatever this is. Like, it's so bad.
And at least All Out is a manga.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is something to like base it off.
Yeah, there's just like no coherence and like plan for this. It was terrible, and I dropped it. But those 4 episodes I watched were not great in the slightest.
They were not good. I mean, I didn't hear anything about this, so I think that's pretty telling, even though it probably would have been a smaller show.
I'm glad
general.
no one has heard about this. You shouldn't have to.
You know the worst. We haven't even talked about the worst part about this show is that it's called Number 24 and it has 12 episodes.
Does anyone wear number 24?
I don't know. Their numbers don't fucking matter. Nothing relating to rugby matters.
Nothing. They don't have numbers.
It's just called Number 24 because it's a sports
know if-
show.
I don't
They
know
can
if
We have
numbers.
wanted 12 more episodes of it, though. Maybe this is a mercy.
Maybe this is the second half of Stars Align. Who knows?
I hope the second half of Hoshiai no Sora would be nothing like this, for the sake of everybody who is interested in that show.
Yeah. Well, this was fun. I hate when you guys make these like bad shows sound fun.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like I'm gonna go have fun watching them, but I know I won't because you guys don't
But
have fun.
that is the fun of watching them.
Getting
Yeah,
through an episode
well,
is just
I
ranting and being like, yeah, this is terrible. I hate it so much. Yeah, this is the worst experience, but I'm still here.
Well, I appreciate your sacrifices because I'm not doing it, so I appreciate you guys. But show I did actually watch. We got Somali, and I like this show.
Okay.
Oh shit, a good show.
Okay,
Fucking nuts.
this is a good show. I like this. I really like it as like this slice of life adventure fantasy series that's in like a pretty cool setting with really great background art, and it makes me have family feels. That's kind of it, but I mean, I really like it. What do you guys think?
I thought it was good, but suffered from a little too much tonal whiplash.
I can see that.
You know, I like that the show had teeth. It wasn't just like cuteness all the time, and there were like actual problems.
It got pretty real sometimes.
It definitely got like
it went,
really real sometimes, but
like more than I thought it would.
yeah, for sure. I think like the first time that happens with like the like bird girl who's like,
Yeah,
I'm
the
gonna
harpy
like
girl.
kill Somali and feed her blood to my friend. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what the fuck? All right, we're
Yeah.
doing this. But then like eventually just like enough people figure out that Somali is human, and it kind of started to feel a little bit old by like the last couple episodes, especially because I guess like the whole point of the show in the end was just like humans are the worst, fuck them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of like, you think these guys are bad, but humans also very bad.
yeah.
And it's like, yeah. And it's kind of cool that they do, like, show that it's not just, like, humans getting hunted down by monsters, like we kind of are made to believe at the beginning. It's like, no, humans are pretty bad, too. But, you know, there's only so much of that where it's like, yeah, I get the point, humans bad. But, yeah, I mean, I remember with the Harpy episode, I like the twist of him, the human the Harpy was taking care of, like, he ended up eating her mom, which I didn't see coming.
That shit
like,
was nuts.
That was crazy. That was like, that was like some savagery I didn't anticipate.
Yeah.
So I appreciate a lot of it in that how I like that the first human that they run into is actually like the biggest threat for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it does kind of show that it's like the temperament of people is not determined by their species, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I think those were like the best 2 episodes of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that. And I like the early episode with where, Somali tries to get the golem a gift and he's just like focused on how she was like risking her safety, and it showed a nice contrast between like his practical nature and like the emotional nature of like getting someone a gift. Like they contrasted that pretty nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like it when they do show like the natural struggles they have of like an emotionless golem not understanding a human child and vice versa.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
I thought was like a cool dynamic. So I like that too. And mostly I like the background art. Background art very
good.
nut.
I also really
Very
liked the 2 Oni who they spend like the last arc with, and who also like showed up earlier on. I think those 2 were good fun characters.
I like
I like
the kid Oni. I liked how he was a really good balance between this this childish character who could play with Somali, but also someone who was mature enough to kind of he was the one who was like, yo, Golem, like, you're actually really fucked up. Like, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I don't really have a lot to say about the show.
I don't
It just
either,
like
even though it's like
was nice and pleasant.
honestly oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's all I was gonna say. It just like was nice and pleasant, but that's kind of like
Honestly, I
yeah.
was surprised at how much I liked it. Like, I didn't expect to like it that much,
yeah?
but I think it's one of my favorites of the season, and definitely, like, I don't know if it's one of my favorite slice of lifes out there, but, like, it's definitely, like, a unique, fun experience that I really enjoyed.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's fine. I like it overall. I thought the first couple episodes, like, were really, really good. I think the biggest problem, and major spoilers right here, the biggest problem is that the entire show, they're setting up, like, Golem has such a limited lifespan, he can't be with Somali forever, they have to complete this journey and all. And then the show ends, and none of it happens. He's just like, yep, I guess the journey just continues. And I think that was, like, the worst possible way they could have ended the show, just having nothing happen.
You think so?
And it's probably because the source material is still going on, so, like, they can't, like... they probably can't end it, They probably can't be like, and then he dies. I don't even know if he dies, but they probably can't have, like, a definitive ending,
Yeah, I feel that. I thought that, like, I think it did a good job of, like, having, like, an emotional conclusion to that whole deal without being able to, like, actually resolve it.
Yeah.
Because, like, none of it happens at the end, but it still comes to a head where he eventually is like, all right, I gotta outie because, this will happen eventually. And it's coming and all that. But I thought that was good enough the way that they handled it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I at least do really like the, emotions that Golem developed at the very end,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Daisuke Ono, amazing. It's amazing to say that he has such an amazing performance in this show when he is talking in the same monotonous voice the entire time, but 10 out of 10 voice actor.
Yeah, he's great.
I really liked in the last episode when he's like trying to leave and Somali finds him and he's just trying to be like as like shitty as possible in order to make her want him to go, and she's like, I'm not buying this, like, I know you love me, and he's like, no, I don't have feelings, and she's like, you fucking do.
So Molly impresses me at how she does not annoy me as a kid.
Yeah,
like, she's such an authentic kid, and she does not annoy me, and in many other instances, I would probably get annoyed.
Yeah, for sure.
They do, like, great kid character who feels like a kid. So, good on them. I think it's worth watching, especially if you want, like, a chill but emotional... What do you call it, a slice of life? It's like a slice of life, right?
Yeah, I'd count it. It's close enough.
Sure.
Slice of life fantasy adventure series, which is a weird combo, but fitting for all of them.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely worth checking out, in my opinion. And then you can, at the very least, just see very pretty background art. It's very nice. Very good. Very feels. Going on to the next one, which is kind of like the sleeper hit of the season. Well, there's kind of two. I think we got two sleeper hits. But the first one is ID Invaded, which was a very exciting watch, very interesting series. Kind of just finished it today.
Yep, same.
And just kind of watched 8 episodes today. So that was a trip. I remember Sinners kind of called it the Psychopaths Light.
Yeah, Boneless Psychopaths.
Boneless Psychopaths. And I kind of agree with that even still at the end. But I still really enjoyed it.
You think so? I was going to say that while it was definitely true when I said it, the show very much developed its own personality.
Mm-hmm.
But you still think it was, it just was Psychopaths?
No, I don't think it, was Psychopaths, but I do think it has almost more Psychopaths tendencies than I initially thought, especially with the ending.
Oh, really?
But... yeah, because I think it kind of dealt with the same topics in a similar way, as in, they both recognize that they have complicated, I don't want to say, there's complicated world building going on and complicated, systems that are in place, and they can't immediately fix them.
That's
but
true. That's
they recognize that they want to fix them in the future.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that they both kind of take these complicated systems with honesty and say, this is in place for a reason, and we need to keep utilizing it until we come up with a better way.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely appreciate that from both of them. I'm not sure which one feels better. Maybe the Psychopaths one feels a bit more, meaty for Akane's character. But I still think, the conclusion for this one worked out well too.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, the last... So I remember in Impressions... we were joking about how detective shows always, without fail, go downhill. They're never good detective shows that stay good for an entire season. Yeah. And it sounds like Inspector... and we were joking, all right, we'll keep watching Inspector and we'll keep watching ID Invaded, and we'll see which one becomes bad. And it looks like the answer was definitely Inspector, because ID Invaded did a pretty good job of sticking the landing. That said, I don't think it was 100%. The last arc was definitely the weakest part of the show.
Yeah. No doubt.
The reveal of John Walker was...
called it 5 episodes before then.
Yeah.
Called it very... could see that from a mile away.
It was the only outcome that made sense given what the show had started up, but he was just not really a character.
I still don't know what his motive was, and I think they had episodes dedicating towards talking about his motives. I don't know what
in the last episode they kind of say that he had a god complex basically, which is okay, fine, I'll accept that as an answer, but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted more of, like, why did he have a god complex? Like, there's so much they could have gone with on, like, why did he develop this after working as a police officer for so long? You know, there's so many ways you can go with him being corrupted in some way.
Yeah.
And have it tie back to, like, the main character. And what's really tough about it is that, like, there are so many... I don't want to say they're really good antagonists, but they're very interesting antagonists that we see over the course of 1 or 2 episodes. Yeah. Like, you know, like, the hole in the head bro, he was really interesting. He was the best. Yeah, I'm still sad, TBH. He was a bro. Yeah. I loved him.
Although it is interesting. I don't remember who it was I was talking about with this.
I think it was me.
Someone saying that, like... Oh, was it you?
About, like,
about the antagonists?
Yeah, like, the antagonists, like, they're, like... What they do is really memorable, but them themselves are, like... I don't remember anything about the person this was. Like...
Yeah.
Like, the fact that I had to look up who, like... I think, like, my favorite, like murder part of, like, all the different murders was the one who, like, had the underground, like, oxygen depleting chamber with the live stream. And I was like, that was really interesting. And the reveal on that at the end of that arc was really cool and, like, really, oh, fuck. Yeah. Like, it hit really hard.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like...
Those two were definitely the most interesting.
And then, like, there's, like, the big deal is that, like, that dude ends up, like, committing suicide because of Nari... I can't say his full fucking name, so I'll say Sakaido. Yeah, I'll say Sakaido. But, like, Sakaido convinces him to kill himself, and it's like, this is this really big scene where you're like, oh shit, this dude is like, this person fucks around with people really hard. Yeah. And then just, like, a couple of episodes later, I was like, who was the dude he made kill himself? I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, that was the...
And it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, I really, I remembered what he did way more than, like, who he was. And that's, like, a thing with most of the antagonists, besides the blue-haired whole dude who is... Holbro is a great character.
Yo, he had shit figured out.
Yeah.
He had the numbers.
Yeah. He was like... he was, like, quirky in the perfect way. Like, he didn't just come off, like, as just, like, a really fucking weird, like, beyond... Like, he's crazy, but, like, he's not, like, crazy to the point where you're like, okay.
He's a charming... He's, like, a charming serial killer. And, like, he was interesting because he had, like, his own weird goal of, like, wanting someone to drill their own head like him and find that kind of camaraderie. And then once he achieved that, he's like, okay, no more killing for me. Like, I've got my goal. So he was interesting enough. I'm probably with you. Like, if I didn't binge it all today, I probably wouldn't remember them as much. But I do think it was really interesting to see how they played with Sakaido and how he... At first, you're kind of, like, sympathetic. You're like, oh, well, like, he kills people, but, like, his family his daughter got killed and then his wife killed herself, so you're like, he's sympathetic, but then you just see this guy talk people off the ledge and you're like, okay, he's got some edge to him, this is pretty cool, I like this darkness in him. So I mean, he was definitely really interesting. And when they had him, it reminded me so much of Inception, where, like, he lost track of reality and being like the well within the well, you know, when he thought that was his reality, and he was kind of like saying goodbye to his daughter and wife. Like, that was really emotional. I actually, like, that really got me.
I feel like that's kind of a tired trope of, like, you get close to the end of the show and then your tragic protagonist has the, like, what if you just left it all behind and went back to things being good and normal? And it's like, like, fucking Gurren Lagann does that.
But that's, like, one of the best scenes, like, ever. Like, the way they do that in Gurren Lagann is, like, so perfect. But like, you know...
It's a trope that, like, I've seen enough times in enough different sorts of shows that when it comes up, I tend to be kind of, like, roll my eyes. But I think it was really well executed here, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it. It was... I think what got me wasn't even just, like, him choosing between leaving or staying, but, like, when they're asking, like, are you leaving us? And he's like, you guys are the ones who left me. That was, like, a hard-hitting line. Yeah. Yeah. So I think he's cool, and I think the detective chick is cool, like how her partner kind of determined that she was, like, into killing people, even though it wasn't, like, obvious. Like, that was kind of cool. But one of my weird gripes that I have for the series is it has, like, a ridiculous amount of insert songs, and they're very weirdly utilized. Like, in the, like, last couple episodes, it was, you know... It was, like, the big hype moment of them going back in, and I swear it was just, like, an AMV. Like, they edited an AMV in this segment of the episode. And I'm like, bro, like, I'm into this series, but you're making this feel so jarring because you're like, we're hyped going back in the wells, let's go. And I'm like, we shouldn't have like a Linkin Park song right now.
That was like, yeah, because like I like the songs that they insert, but I don't think they fit the scenes they insert them into. Like, bangers, but like, I don't think you need a banger for these scenes. They're more like these like...
Yeah, exactly.
These like big revelations about like, the like, I guess it's like, oh shit, so like, why not have like a banger? But like, it makes sense in like, on like paper, but like, it doesn't make sense in execution.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like, one of them was like when, it was like the girl's partner and like the director, they're like in the car driving and they're playing like this hype, like Need for Speed song. And I'm like, they're not doing anything hype right now. Like, there's nothing cool about what they're doing in this instance.
No,
they're
that
not even like
wasn't an insert song. That's just
well.
what was on the radio in the car.
Yeah. If they did that, I would respect that. But I'm like, this is just weird.
Yeah, it's an abnormal amount of insert songs. Like, I guess it was like promoting Miyavi's album or whatever, but like still, it's like really like I liked them, but like I don't think I would like to see these kind of like insert choices again in a show.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Grimgar, but the difference was in Grimgar they were kind of just like,
near as bad as in Grimgar.
Well, Grimgar had an agenda.
Yeah,
and it worked for Grimgar because they were just walking.
Yo, real talk, fuck Grimgar.
Senris convinced me to lower my Grimgar score.
Did I really?
And I was like, well, you were like, it's a slow show made for character development and no one developed. And I'm like, you speak the truth. Down to a 5 it goes. Like, there it is. You know, you present the facts and I'm like,
those big facts.
Where's the lie? Lower the score. But yeah, I like ID Invaded. I feel like it's kind of, I hope that like people will check it out if you like selling people on Psycho-Pass doesn't work, I'd recommend this because it's shorter and you still get like a fulfilling experience. But I still would call it Psycho-Pass light, but that is a huge compliment. It's a really good show. It's very much worth checking out.
Is there anything
and I had a good
you
time.
would say it did better than Psycho-Pass?
I guess I don't know. Well, I mean, they do things a bit different. Okay, I'll say this, because in Psycho-Pass, they focus a lot on Kogami's, like, mental state of, like, he killed someone, and now he's kind of working as, like, a dog of the police academy, and he has, like, his coefficient number is off because he had that will to kill. And I like his character a lot, and I think they do a good job with him, but I do like the focus on Saikaido and how he's kind of, like, he wants to kill, and he has that urge to kill, but he makes that, difference and says, you know, just because I have the urge to kill doesn't mean I need to act on it. So I felt like they had like a bit more commentary on like his morality and motivations to make him interesting. And I don't even know if I like him more than Kogami, but I think they focused a bit more on just his morality and like how he made decisions whether to kill or not to kill people.
That's cool. Yeah, I can get behind that. I think for me the big standout star of the show is definitely Fukuda. Like, he just brings so much...
Is that the whole bro?
Yeah, that's whole bro.
Whole bro is like a true bro. He's very interesting. He's very cool.
Yeah. He brings so much to the table, both from, like, as an antagonist originally, and then he's kind of, like, comic reliefy for a while. And then when they rope him back in, like, towards the end for the main plot, he actually, like, provides way more than I would have expected him to. Like, his interactions with Saikaido when they're in the well together, and how at first he's just being, like, goofy, and you're like, alright, this guy's, like, useless, and Saikaido's, like, he's just, like, along for the ride to provide comic relief while Saikaido does all of the work for the plot. And then at the end, they reveal that he actually, like, set everything up to, like, lead Saikaido to the conclusion that he wanted. That was really sick. That.
Because you knew that he was smart, and they kept praising how intelligent he was, so when they kept showing him, like, sucking at the well, you're like, why does this guy suck? Like, he keeps dying in record times. And then when they revealed that, like, he did that on purpose, I was like, yo, that is a twist. Yeah. Love Whole Bro. I won't remember his name, but I will remember him as Whole Bro.
Like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the names in this show are really hard to remember. They're so long.
Because they have two, and then they switch between them all the time.
Yeah. I like that Whole Bro's, like, shtick in that, like, well in a well episode was, like, it, like, actually made sense instead of just being like, haha, plot twist. He's actually, like, the young god of this series. It's like, if he's like, I don't like doing this well shit because it brings me back to, like, not having a hole. And then when I have no hole, like, I overthink and, like, I want to not exist. And it's like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Like, I love that.
It's so rare to see a character who's like crazy, but in like a well executed way.
Yeah, and it's not,
you know,
in a unique way. Like, he has his own unique way of being crazy that's like moderately grounded, and that like he has that, I forget the name. It's the number thing where like he's constantly counting numbers.
Yeah, right.
So like he has like a basis for why he's so crazy, and there's like a limit to his craziness. Like, he's not just like lashing out at every person. It's like, I'm crazy in this very specific way, and this is like how I act, and I can still relate to people.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, very sad that he died, low-key. Like, I wanted him to come
He was
back.
a real one.
He was a real one.
Pour one out.
Pour one out for my mans. Oh, I just looked up his voice actor. He's the same voice actor as Yushijima from Shiratorizawa. Like, he's
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, should have come to Shiratorizawa. There it is. Oh my god. Yeah, so it's ID Invaded. Would you guys both recommend it?
Big wreck. I think this was my, not including like sequels and shit, this was my number 3 of the season.
What were your 1 and 2?
Dorohedoro at Eizouken.
Okay, so that's our transition.
What a transition.
Yeah.
So, speaking of that, Dorohedoro, what's good?
Dorohedoro. This whole show is fucking good.
This show is fucking fire, bro.
Yeah, this show is so great. It's like,
Me and Nar were talking about this before the pod, that we like fell off on it because it's a Netflix show, so I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say.
I think Maz caught up on it today, and you made a comment in the Discord that I think summed up the entire thing. Let me see if I can find that real quick, because I just want to read this thing word for word. Here we go.
Yeah, I think I even saw this.
Bro, holy fucking shit. I'm watching Dorohedoro, and this girl fought this big-ass mushroom fucker, and she ripped it in half, and it bled all over the place, and the blood pool turned into a fucking door that led to the villain. Jesus Christ, this show is so fucking lit. And I'm like, yeah, that sums it up.
This is not a show you can, like, it has a plot. It definitely has a plot, but you can't, like, really say what the plot is. You can only really say what Dorohedoro is just by saying what happens in it, just specific things that are in it. Like, there's a giant cockroach, like, insect thing that plays baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to the fact that this, of all fucking shows, has a baseball episode.
It has everything.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm really happy that the rumors that you brought up in the Impressions episode that it was going to like adapt the entire story were not true.
Yeah.
Because
like that's why I only watched one episode, and it wasn't until like this month or maybe sometime late March where I actually started catching up on it, because I'm like, well, I've actually heard, because I actually started hearing like, oh, Dorohedoro is a really good adaptation, so I'm like, oh, I guess they didn't fuck it up. But yeah, I'm like kind of disappointed now because it's a freaking great show.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this fucking manga. This shit is so wild.
I want to read. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to read the manga, specifically because there's just so many things that happen in it that I need to, like, revisit it already.
I think, like, my only complaint with it is that it's got, like, a very read the manga ending. Not in the sense that there's, like, a cliffhanger. But just in the sense that, like, none of the plot threads are really resolved at the end.
Yeah. It just runs out of time.
Yeah.
Sad.
Really sad. But, oh, man. Yeah. I'm like so invested in everything it does.
What I think is so amazing is that there are so many things going on, and it's really such a dark series. You've got this very gritty setting. There's so much violence, so much gore, and it's so graphic, and there's people dying all over the fucking place to the point where it's just like naturally accepted. Like there's a scene where Kaiman, a thing that he does is he's trying to look for the sorcerer who cast the spell on him. So he bites on people's heads and then asks them, what the guy inside say to you. And if it's not, and if they say you're not the one, then he just kills them. So he does this at a bar where he just goes up to a guy, just is like, hey, guy turns around, he bites his head, and he says, you're not the one. He's like, all right, I'm going to kill you now. And he's like, maybe you shouldn't do that, because I've actually got some things to do, and it's just like such a casual exchange between the two of them that this is just how everyone accepts their lives.
This is like how the characters interact.
Yeah, this is just everyday life for them. But the thing that's so great is that despite all of this, the show is hilarious.
Yes.
It's like practically a comedy with how just fun it is.
I don't know how it pulls it off without feeling like whiplashy.
Yeah.
You know? Because I guess, like, I was gonna say that even when it's being, like, brutal and murderous, it's still pretty funny. And that's true sometimes, but not always.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, it certainly gets serious on a lot of points.
Yeah, maybe that's the secret, is that, like, at times it's being, like, really just, like, pure comedy. And at times it's being, like, really dark and fucked up. But then there's also a lot in the middle where, like, fucked up things are happening, but in a funny way. So that it spends enough time in the center that when it drifts to either end, it feels natural.
Mm-hmm.
That's my theory. That's as good as I've got.
Yeah. Like
Sounds good to me.
When N was first introduced, the guy with the spiky red hair, the really, really edgy looking mask, I'm like, oh, this dude looks edgy as fuck. But then you see him later, he like adopts a dog and he's like, ooh, Gucci, Gucci, Gucci. And it's like, wow, I didn't expect this guy to be so likable.
For like such a terrifying main antagonist, he is so lovable.
Uh-huh.
I love
Yeah, I don't think there's a single character who is like that I disliked at all.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's like, I was thinking about this a little while ago. I think the only character who feels like not like actively great is 13, and that's mostly because he just kind of like comes out of nowhere. And
which one is 13?
He's you first see him in the baseball episode. He's the guy with like the sharp teeth, who like has a like a thing for what's her name, Nikaido.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like as far as I can remember, I don't think he was like in the show before then. And then suddenly he just like has this presence, and I didn't care.
He does feel kind of non-essential,
right? But everybody else is amazing. Noe is the best character of the season from any show, awesome. Hands down.
Yeah.
Is he the main guy?
No, she's the like
she's the
fucking
she's the gigantic girl with the silver hair.
Oh yeah.
She is amazing.
Nice.
I love everything about it.
Yeah.
Nice. Do we know if aren't they covering it in like movies, or do they have like other episodes?
I don't think they've announced anything beyond this.
Yeah, not that I'm aware.
Okay, so this is it. So this is like essentially it for now.
For now. Well, actually, there are 6 OVAs coming out later on.
Oh, okay.
Really?
That's what I was thinking of.
Cool.
Okay. Well, that's cool to hear. Everyone should check it out.
No, I'm sorry. 6 OVAs, they're 5 minutes each.
Boo.
So
we don't like that.
Sad days.
Well, sad days. Well, I mean, everyone can check it out when it comes to Netflix, or now they know how. They know what I'm saying. But it'll come out to Netflix hopefully soon. So then I'd love to have more people see it when it's more easily available.
Just watch it. Just please watch it.
Please do it. Oh, it's perfect.
We were also dunking on Grimgar earlier. This all of the music for Dorohedoro is composed by the same group who did all the music for Grimgar. And I remember when Grimgar that was their first gig.
Right.
And I remember people were like really hype about that, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't see what is so special about this. And then they did Soccer Quest. And I remember Soccer Quest had some really good EDs. The second one specifically was one of my like top 10 of that year. Then they did either Sirius the Jaeger or Fairygon. I can't fucking remember. Some show that no one watched. But now they did this. They went the fuck off in this show. Like, this show has 6 EDs, and all of them are the best ED of the season. It's unbelievable. The OP is amazing. The soundtrack is like the best soundtrack I've heard for any anime in a while. Like, they're so good. I love No Name now.
Yeah.
So I guess Grimgar walks so Dorohedoro could run?
Exactly.
Well, that is good to hear. I'm excited to binge this too, so I think me and Nar will be checking this out.
It's just, high
priority. In yonder.
Oh, there is one more thing I have to gush about it with it, is the world building in the world of the sorcerers. It's so unique, dude. Like, the way they mix the devils into everything, and then, like, the Blue Night Festival. There's so much creative imagery in the show. Like, the way the sorcerers form partners is they literally, like, they have a devil takes, like, a door handle, puts it on their chest, and then, like, opens...
That blew my mind!
Opens up their chest, like, pulls out a piece of their organs, transforms it into a paper that they then write the contract on, and put it back in the other person. It's
fucking heaven's doors it.
Yeah, it's, there's so much, like, little shit like that is in every single episode at all times. And it's just, like, so taken for granted and so omnipresent that the feeling of just, like, existing in this setting is nuts. I love it.
Again, like, remember that one example I mentioned? They kill this mushroom monster with Jen just bleeds all over the floor, and then the blood just turns into a door, which leads into a completely different area. Like, I saw that and I, like, fell out of my couch. I'm like, how the fuck? Who's coming up with this? That is amazing.
Most of the sorcerers, like, the type of magic they can do is so hyper-specific. And then you have N, who's just like, mushrooms. Mushroom. I turn things into mushrooms. I make mushrooms that then grow out of people. These, like, as long as you staple a mushroom onto it visibly, his magic can do, like, literally anything.
Yeah. This series is
so good.
Freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Decent to strong 9. Anime of the season. Strong contender for anime of the year already.
I felt I had to give it an 8 just because it has, like, such a non-ending. But in terms of quality...
That did sour the mood a little bit.
In terms of quality, it is an easy 9. Easy.
Nice. That's high praise. Nice. Well, we will be checking it out. We have a few more, but we got to do the obligatory triangle show of the season. So if you would, Maz, take it away.
So here's the thing about Heya Camp Triangle, the reason why we're bringing this up. I was considering not talking about it, or at least setting up some sort of emotional bit where I get, I really profusely apologize, because this is the one show out of all the ones that I started that I did not finish, but I meant to. But then I realized that the joke is that every time we have a triangle show, I make everyone watch it, and then I don't watch it. So there we go.
But this time we just didn't watch it, and you didn't watch it.
No one watched it. But
okay, cool.
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, it's just like the Eurocamp Triangle, but shorts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, like, you know what it is. You know the fare. You know what's up.
And Season 2 of Eurocamp Triangle 2021.
Something to look forward to. Nice. We'll actually watch that one. So we have, like, a few high-profile season carryovers to briefly comment on. First one being Haikyuu. The first core finished the season, and then the second core will hopefully start airing in July in the summer season. This was good.
It's Haikyuu. It's good.
Haikyuu, it's good. If you didn't like this because it didn't have enough hype action, then do not speak with me. And I don't like that. I don't like that opinion. Thank you. Have a good day. Probably more to comment on this one, since I finished this, like, kind of in 3 days. We got Chihayafuru Season 3.
Now this is the
with
shit.
Arguably episode of the year. You know what I'm talking about. Episode 23.
Ooh.
With arguably quote of the year. With Chihaya, do you think I'm made of stone or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen it
Sean
probably
and I
everywhere
have been
at this
talking
point.
at length about the pain that is being Taichi.
We've been talking about this, and, like, I'm gonna flame the shit out of Fate right now, because he is such a fuckboy. Like, this is, okay, you guys gotta understand, for people who haven't watched Chihayafuru, like, this is Taichi's season. Like, this is, like, his arc. This is him as a character developing. Everyone's freaking out, and then you have Fate in the corner being like, yeah, guys, so I love Arata a lot, and this is why. Like, imagine being that guy and, like, a Hanikawa arc of Monogatari being like, hey guys, I love Senjo Gahara. And it's like, cool, no one cares. Go away. Like, not the time. Like, not the time at all. So, if Fate ends up listening to this, fuck you, Team Taichi. We rolling deep. We know what's up. Everyone is Team Taichi. Do not speak Arate's name in my presence. I will go off. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
Very good season. Pray for season 4. If not, reading the manga, already on that. Very
Fuck
good.
yeah. I think one more
What's
season will probably do it for like a full adaptation.
You think they can do the rest in like one more?
I think it's possible.
One more 24.
I think it's possible. I'm saying this without having like any solid idea of the number of chapters involved, because I do read the manga, but I don't know where the fuck what chapter season 3 left off at.
They do kind of cut the bullshit. Like they'll just skip out like months in between, which is a good thing.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Like, you know, they'll just skip to tournaments. And so I think they can make some bold moves with that.
Yeah.
I heard someone say maybe a season 5, but like
maybe a season 5.
I won't get greedy if they could do season 4, maybe season 5, that's great, but there's a lot of good upcoming content.
Yes.
Also, even though it is Taichi season, have to give a shout out to Haruda sensei, also my goat.
Yeah, no, it's Haruda season. He was like,
it actually is his season, but at the beginning and end, it's like Taichi season.
Yeah, dude, Haruda makes it.
It's a Taichi Haruda sandwich.
The Haruda Suo match is like the high point of the entire story for me. Like, I think that's as hype as the series ever gets, I think. And
I agree, but I was pissed. But
yeah,
continue.
And it's just like, it kind of comes out of nowhere too, because Haruda has been there since the very beginning of the show, but he's always been kind of like a side, if not background character. He just like is the mentor character, and then he just like explodes onto the scene in this, and he gets he gets so close to the top, man. I wanted it so bad.
Okay, so I would have that as like my second favorite match, but the Haruda Arata match was my favorite because, you know, up until that point, I'm like, Arata, this fucker, he like literally shits himself during a match, misses like a fourth of it, and still wins. But then they have this, and I'm like, watch them make him win again. Like, my man Haruta cannot catch a break. But then like seeing how he overcame everything and like played the system to his advantage was so self-satisfying. Like, I just felt so great. Like, I don't even hate Arata as much as I'm cursing him. Like, he's a good character, like, not against him, but like the way Haruta like overcame everything, which is so great. Yeah, that was definitely the high point of the entire series so far. So good show. Team Taichi, roll out. Squad.
We in this.
Watch it.
Yeah.
So I guess moving on to the next one, it is My Hero Academia season 4. I know Maz really liked it. I don't even know, Nard, are you up to date? Sinrus, are
I was
you up
gonna
to date?
start watching season 4, and then I just didn't watch the first episode. And then I just didn't.
Same. It's been like at the top of my like Crunchyroll queue since it started. And every time I log on to Crunchyroll, I sit there and I'm like, maybe I just won't.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
And I'm kind of pissed.
What if
because,
I just
don't? I had such a good thing going on where, like, I'd watch the episodes at the gym, because it's kind of like the perfect gym show. Like,
yeah, I feel that.
You know, just, like, running on the treadmill, because, like, I pay attention to it, but no one's really giving me weird looks, because, like, My Hero Academia is never going to get that weird, and, like, the few gym bros will, like, probably recognize it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So, that was going great. Then quarantine season happened. I'm not at the gym, and I feel like, how do I watch this now? Like, I guess I can actually watch it like a normal person, but it kind of feels like I'm officially giving up on the gym by continuing it. So I'm like halfway through the season. I know what happens in the next half, but I know Maz really enjoyed the season, so I figured I'd say, hey, how you feel about the season?
I would just like to thank everyone, namely you, everyone who was on the spring 2018 episode, the podcast way back when, because y'all were like, oh yeah, Hiraka, the One for All fight was really great, and then it's all downhill from here, guys. This is the best part of Hiraka. We are past the peak, and I really felt that with the second half of season 3. I thought it was pretty mediocre, and I'm like, yeah, this series is getting kind of stale. And then first half of season 4, the overhaul arc. amazing. Easily best part of My Hero Academia. I love the way that they framed it, much more as a drama. The fight, there weren't a ton of fights, but when there were fights, they were like really important. They were really good. And then the second half was largely a slice of life arc that highlighted some characters that we haven't really seen before, and specifically put a lot of focus on Endeavor, who I feel like the show has been framing as a bad guy for a while, where like, you know, he's like a shit father to Todoroki, and he's like, ooh, big scary guy. But now you see him, he's like, well, in a post All Might world, he's now the number one hero, so now he has to like be more heroic, and you know, you just see more sides of him. And overall, I thought this was just a huge step up from Hiroaka for Hiroaka. I was really, really impressed with it. I really considered this series to be past its prime, and I thought it was just going to go downhill like everyone warned me about, and I am so glad that everyone is wrong. I've literally, I literally made fun of I did this thing where I said, My Hero Academia invented this thing, because before season 4...
Well, it's a funny meme either way.
Before season 4 happened, people would people would say, My Hero Academia did this and that, like, oh, no other shonen has done this. No other shonen has had a villain or a character this deep before. But, and so I was kind of making fun of that, just as a kind of neutral fan of this series. But now, everyone hates Hiroaka, everyone thinks this season is a big piece of shit, and now I'm the one who's like, yo, this is actually really fucking good. It's just a fun little... That's my favorite character arc of the whole season. You know, My Hero Academia getting so popular that now everyone hates it, and I think it's cool to like it, because it's the best it's ever been. If you don't like it, I'm going to kick you in the head, no matter how many times people tell me that kicking people in the head doesn't make me right. I don't fucking care.
Does everyone?
Yeah, I'm in like a weird...
Does everyone hate the season? Because I've been seeing like tons of people popping off about Gentle Criminal.
It's like a weird thing. It's like a weird spot where like people have so many different reasons for disliking Hiroaka, and there's so many like that are like kind of stupid and complete bullshit, and some that are like kind of valid but then not that valid. And I'm even in a weird spot where I'm like, okay, I know my gripes with the series, but you guys are not even, like, remotely close to how I feel, and you guys are complaining about things that I don't think are a problem. I mean, so, like, even me as, like, the resident Hiroaka hater, I'm kind of like, you guys need to chill. Like, please stop.
I mean, if you want to see what people are saying, let's just go to the most highest of intellects, the My Anime List reviews. Let's look at the top review. The third season starts with, wait, what season is this?
4.
Season 4.
Well, this guy says it's season 3, so I guess that's why he hates it. So everyone hates it because they think it's season 3. But yeah, it's the lowest rated season on My Anime List, you know, scores that don't matter.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's so weird, too. I mean, I don't know. It's just so weird. I feel like people have, like, when I see people complaining about Hiroaka because they're like, it's overrated and the fans are bad, it's just such a cringe, like, third grade reason to hate a series. Right? And it's like, can you guys have, like, actual criticism for the series instead of just, like, complaining about fans saying they like it a lot? Like, every fan base does that. You're not, like, this is not a new issue. So, I mean, I will say that I think they did a better job with... I don't know if they did a better job, but I enjoyed this arc a lot more as an anime than I did as a manga. So I think it's just one of those things where the first time I read it, I thought it was dog shit, and then I watched it, I'm like, oh, it's actually pretty good. Same thing happened with part 5, so big ups to them. And I'm glad to see that Endeavor has gotten more attention, because I always felt like he had the most potential out of, like, the characters that we'd seen for being, like, morally interesting. So I'm glad to see Endeavor get some love, because he was kind of treated unfairly by the fans who were like, ew, Endeavor bad, big mean to Todoroki. Meanwhile, they'd, like, thirst over, like, Bakugo, who's, like, a huge dick, and it's like... They can both be dicks and both be good characters. Like, please, come on.
I remember that the real problem is that everyone before this season, they were complaining about My Hero Academia being a generic shonen. It's just a generic shonen, whatever. And then this season did something different, and that is bad.
What did it do that was different?
It's just different. It doesn't have as many fights, so it's not, you know.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, see, that's one of those things where I'm like, I hear those complaints and I'm like, y'all are dumb. Like, I'm the one, like, it's like, excuse me, I'm the one who's like, I've held the table of complaints, and here are my complaints, and I've been like consistent with my complaints. And then I have people showing up out of nowhere that are like, there's not enough fights. And I'm like, your complaint is invalid. That is dumb. Like, not at my table. You can't sit at my table of complaints.
And aside from that, I've heard lots of complaints from manga readers saying that they didn't really adapt, I guess, these arcs properly. Some people say that this season went downhill in terms of production. I don't know. Didn't really notice that. I haven't read this part of the manga, so I can't really compare it. All that I know is that this season was freaking great. Overhaul is the best villain. Lemillion is an amazing character. The other guy, the other guy, the green and yellow looking fucking dude, I forgot his name. The dude who could tell the future. He was a great character. Night Eye. He was a great character. Fat Gum is a great character. Red Rocket guy. He had a great fight. Kirishima is great. And Aizawa,
I swear I stand the show.
Is the best character still.
Who is?
Aizawa.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's me.
Also, you're wrong. Hawks is the best character. I haven't even consumed...
Hawks is so fly.
What about Sun
literally
Eater?
Not consumed... I've abandoned him. Bye-bye. Like,
wow. Yeah, Sun Eater is
good. Sun Eater was, like, good, and he has a cool quirk, but I have moved on because I've seen Hawks, and he is voiced by Nakamura. He's got the swag.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
I've seen manga spoilers with him, and I'm like, yo, he's my favorite character, like, just off the bat. I haven't consumed any of him. Like, I've literally not read the manga up to him, and I've not seen the series. I'm like, my favorite Hiroaka character. I don't care if that's toxic to, like, say my favorite Hiroaka character is someone I haven't even seen yet, but I know in my heart he's my favorite. So, he's the best. That's it.
Oh, and my other favorite thing about this season of Hiroaka is that up until this point, I've always been like dunking on Hiroaka's OPs because people are like, Hiroaka has the best openings ever, especially because Mother's Basement kept doing videos about them. And I'm like, no, this shit is fucking mud as hell. And then suddenly this season just has amazing openings. Twice. Freaking fantastic openings.
And it's
especially
like, why
because
can't people...
the second one's by like one of my favorite J-Rock bands.
I never get why they can't just praise the Hiroaka endings, because they had that really cool one with, like, the fantasy setting. It's like everyone wants to hype up the openings that have always been very mid, like, very boring. Like, if one part of the series is actually generic that people probably should agree on, it's the openings. Like, you know, they're pretty boring, and this last one was good, and their endings are good, so I'm with you on that.
Yeah, but this season had fantastic openings. It literally improved everything. This is just a huge improvement. I love My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia invented improvements. That's it.
So that's a good transition to the next hype sequel. We have not just Isekai Quartet Season 2, but we have Isekai Quartet Season 3 being announced. Maz made a great reaction video to that. We should probably replicate that.
And with that, that's the end of the podcast, everybody.
That's it. We're going to bed. That's what it means. We're all going to sleep. You know, we had a great time. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope everyone is staying safe and staying indoors. I hope you guys are all, you know, doing what you can, watching as much anime as you want, and, you know, wishing everyone safe and healthy times as we continue on into the unknown. We will probably record a spring episode, but we will find something to talk about. Just trust us. We'll find something.
It's just going to be Josh and Sean Dropkick Season 2, which dropped all of its episodes in one day, so it's already over.
Yeah.
It's the anti-Corona anime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't Brand New Animal also do like 6 episodes at once?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
So we got stuff to talk about.
Weird season on many levels.
It'll be weird. It'll be a new frontier for us, but we will venture on into the unknown with all of you guys. Cinerus, Maz, Nar, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for staying up this late, rambling about anime loudly.
Thank you, Sha.
And thank you, everyone listening. I hope you have a good day, stay safe, and carry on.
Watch Josh and Sean Dropkick, toot-toot, motherfuckers.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much for listening. This has been the Our Anime Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Tokyo Podfathers, or join the Discord server, link in the description. And we play video games at twitch.tv/Tokyo Podfathers. If you're listening outside of YouTube, consider checking out the channel, as we have some episodes that are exclusive to the platform that you might have missed. But if you are listening on YouTube, we are available on pretty much any other place you can get podcasts, including an MP3 link in the description if you so desire. And don't forget, HIDIVE.com/LP/RA2020 for a free 30-day trial to unlimited HD anime streaming. Until next time, bye-bye now.